introduction about myself. So some 20 years back, I was a student at Bullseye. I did my post-graduation economics honors, post-graduation economics. Then did MBA from UBS Chandigarh. I then taught at Bullseye, worked in my corporate life, worked at banks like Citibank. I specialized in marketing. Then ended up doing my CFA as well. I then moved on. I worked with Citibank. I worked with Standard Chartered, a couple of Indian banks before I became an entrepreneur. I was associated with Time. I was associated with Career Launcher in different capacities: consultant, senior consultant, senior faculty. So but obviously I was always working when I was doing that. And Hitbullseye is a platform where I keep, which I've been associated now for 20 years, 18 years as a part of, on the faculty side, being with young, vibrant students like you, who keep me young, who keep teaching me new things, and mutually we keep adding value. So I'm simultaneously adding people on this meeting. So that's why my eyes go to the other side. There are people joining in. Good to see that so many students understand and want to be successful. And the first step is obviously wanting to learn. As I always say, once you always want to learn, success, if you implement it, success always comes. Problem in India is that people don't want to learn, and that's where जब वो सीखना ही नहीं चाहते तो हम उनको सिखाएं क्या, right? Anyways, so at least good to see so many people coming in and joining, and feeling a need that there is a scope of improvement in everyone. So I'm here to talk about success, and I'll start with showing a very crisp video of 9 minutes before we take up the questions, the answers. We clarify your doubts, and I'll request everyone, see the chat box should be full. If you don't want me to speak your name, then you should not mark it to everyone. You should mark it to me one on one. I'll then not speak your name by answering your question. While answering your question, if it's marked to everyone, obviously I'll address you with your name and like to answer your doubt, question, how to approach your preparation, what is holding you back, how should your attitude be, because somewhere over these few years, everyone's got to accept that more than IQ, it's at times EQ, emotional quotient, which plays a lot of part in a person being successful. So without wasting time, let's start with watching a video, and then let's understand what successful people do and what others are lacking off with, and try to fine-tune our lives. Everyone's here to succeed, but how can we fine-tune ourselves to achieve success is the most important thing. So over to the video. Okay, in case it's not audible, just stop me, just write it in the chat box and stop me immediately. Okay.
मैं 5 घंटे सोता हूं, और जब जागता हूं तो क्या जागता हूं, लेकिन 5 घंटे सोता हूं मैं, और आई लाइक दैट. एनीथिंग लॉन्गर देन दैट गिव्स मी हेडेक्स एंड मेक्स मी फील पफी एंड स्ट्रेंज. जब मैं सुबह उठता हूं तो यही सोचता हूं कि जो मैं करने जा रहा हूं उसके अंदर कोई अच्छी बात है या नहीं. और मैं बहुत किताबें पढ़ता हूं. एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट मेरे पास खुद कुछ 15 या 20 हज़ार किताबें मेरे पास घर में हैं, और मैं हर वक्त दिन में 3 किताबें एक साथ पढ़ता हूं. तो जब मैं मुंबई आया, जैसे जवान लोगों के थॉट्स होते हैं कि मैं बहुत पैसे कमाऊंगा, बहुत नाम कमाऊंगा, बड़ा घर करूंगा, मेरे दिमाग में 2 मेन चीजें इन सब मटेरियल चीजों के पीछे थी. आज मेरे पास अल्लाह के फजलो करम से सब है, लेकिन इन चीजों के पीछे, ये गाड़ी मांगने के पीछे, घर मांगने के पीछे, और मुझे लगता नहीं ये बुरा है। आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू शुड इमेजिन ऑल द गुड मटेरियल थिंग्स दैट यू वांट। अगर आपको सक्सेसफुल बनना है, कामयाब बनना है, तो ये 2-4 चीजें हैं जो आपको नहीं करनी। एक तो खाना मत खाइएगा प्लीज, खाने में परेशान हो जाए। खाना खाना है, सोना है, आराम करना है, यू हैव टू बी, और मैं सच बोल रहा हूं ये, तो जो जो बातें 5 स्टार होटल के स्पा में आपको सिखाई जाती है, रिलैक्स, क्लोज योर आईज, और ये सब जो अच्छी लिविंग, हेल्दी लिविंग, गुड लिविंग, ये सबको त्यागना पड़ेगा। ये सब कहना बहुत अच्छा है कि अच्छी विचारधारा रखो, लेकिन हमारे अराउंड इतनी नेगेटिविटी रहती है, हम हमेशा बुरे ख्याल इंसान को बहुत जल्दी आ जाते हैं। तो मैं सब जवान लोगों से कहूंगा कि जो भी चीज आप करेंगे उसको खुशी से करें, और कहीं पे भी ये ना सोचें कि जो मैं करने जा रहा हूँ वो गलत है, बिकॉज जिंदगी जो है अंत उसका हमको भगवान ने लिख कर दिया हुआ है। तो जो भी फेलियर है या सक्सेस है, उससे आपका डर या उससे खुशी आपकी जो है, जब आपको मालूम है कि जिंदगी अंत ही होनी है, सो नन ऑफ इट इज गोइंग टू बी परमानेंट। सो इफ यू फेल वंस, डोंट वरी, ट्राई अगेन, लर्न फ्रॉम इट। इफ यू सक्सीड वंस, डोंट बिकम हॉट हेडेड एंड पिग हेडेड। आपको परेशान रहना है, टेंस रहना है, ब्लड प्रेशर होना पड़ेगा, सोना नहीं चाहिए, खाने की बिल्कुल तकलीफ नहीं होनी चाहिए। मैं तो कहता हूँ, मैं जब फर्स्ट आजकल घूमता हूँ, चल रही है मेरी, मैंने आपको बताया मैं फर्स्ट क्लास प्लेन में ट्रैवल करता हूँ, वो जो रिक्लाइनिंग बेड होता है मैं उसको रिक्लाइन भी नहीं करता। So you cannot be restful and at peace if you want to be successful. And it's the truth, it's God's honest truth. और मैं इस्लामिक रिलीजन का हूँ, मैं मुस्लिम हूँ। हमारे में एक वर्ड है जो बहुत मिसयूज होता है, जिहाद। जिहाद का भी थॉट प्रोसेस बिल्कुल यही है कि हमारे अंदर जो बुरी सोच है उसको कॉन्कर करना, उसके लिए लड़ना, उसे जिहाद कहते हैं। बाहर सड़कों पे लोगों को मारने को जिहाद नहीं कहते। आपको कोई और बात बता दे। मैं आपको 2-4 बातें बताना चाहता हूँ जो जवान लोग हैं यहाँ पे, कि ये सोना आराम हराम है, कोई जरूरत नहीं है इसमें होने की, खाने पीने की। दूसरी बात, अगर आपको सैक्रिफाइस नहीं करना आता तो आप बिल्कुल।
Please everyone put your phone on, put yourself on mute. There's a lot of disturbance happening because some people are not on mute. Please put yourself on mute for the benefit of others.
कामयाब नहीं होंगे। जो आप इस वक्त हैं उसको त्याग कर जो आप बनना चाहते हैं वो ना कर सके। जैसे मैं बहुत लेजी हूँ, आई लाइक टू प्ले वीडियो गेम्स, बी विद माई चिल्ड्रन, आई डोंट लाइक टू वर्क, आई लाइक टू राइट पोएम्स, आई वांट टू रीड बुक्स, आई वांट टू रिलैक्स, बट आई स्लीप ओनली फॉर 4-5 आवर्स, और मैं सुबह उठ के काम पे चले जाता हूँ। 6 पैक बनाना है तो वर्कआउट भी करता हूँ, आई हेट इट बट आई सैक्रिफाइस इट ऑल। थर्ड, आपको दुख पहुंचेगा, दर्द पहुंचेगा, पेन पहुंचेगा, पेन चला जाएगा, सक्सेस इंतजार नहीं करेगा। तो दर्द होता रहे, बुखार होता रहे, जुकाम होता रहे, परेशान होते रहे, आपको सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा। तो ये सब बातें बेकार हैं। और जो भी आपको बोले कि यार आराम करो, जिंदगी जो है इज बियॉन्ड वर्क एंड ऑल, इट्स गुड इफ यू डोंट वांट टू बी सक्सेसफुल। आई फील एनवी एंड एनवियस ऑफ पीपल हु रिलैक्स एंड रेस्ट। आई फील जेलस ऑफ पीपल हु डोंट वांट टू बी सक्सेसफुल, because success will not come unless you are completely restless. जितने भी जवान पीढ़ी के लोग यहाँ पर हैं मेरे जैसे, जो 20-22 साल के हैं, उन सबसे मैं यही गुजारिश करूंगा कि प्रैक्टिकल पर्पसफुलनेस, कि जो काम आप कर रहे हैं उसका कहीं ना कहीं नतीजा, अंजाम मिलना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर आप 8 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं तो उसकी आपको तनख्वाह मिलनी चाहिए। अगर आप फिल्मों में काम कर रहे हैं तो आपको उसके लिए अवार्ड मिलना चाहिए। जो भी मटेरियल चीज आपके दिल में है उसकी आस्था, उसका दिमाग में, उसको हमेशा रखें। मैं कभी भी किसी बच्चे को ये नहीं कहूंगा कि सारी जिंदगी सोशल वर्क में गुजार दो, अच्छे काम करो, सिर्फ प्रेयर करो। नो, आई थिंक यू शुड गो एंड गेट व्हाट यू वांट इन लाइफ, ऑल द मटेरियल थिंग्स। यू शुड हैव अ बिग हाउस फॉर योर फैमिली, you should have a good car for your elder parents, you should be able to educate your sister and your daughter to the best possible way that you can. Please do all that, but somewhere in your heart remember that each job that you do, जो भी कार्य आप करें, जो भी काम आप करें, उससे कहीं ना कहीं ह्यूमैनिटी का कुछ ना कुछ पॉजिटिव होना जरूरी है। I believe all things created in this world are created by our own thoughts. जो विचार होश और जोश में किए जाते हैं वे ही हकीकत को बदलते हैं। दुनिया वैसी नहीं है जैसा आप सोचते हो, दुनिया वैसी है जैसे आप हो। बार बार हर कोई दुनिया के अंदर यही बोलता है कि जो हमारा फ्यूचर है वो यूथ के हाथ में है और हमें अच्छे काम करने चाहिए, अच्छी चीजें सोचनी चाहिए। मेरा बिलीफ ये है हर यूथ को कि आपको जिंदगी में जो चीज चाहिए, जो कमाना है, जो नाम कमाना है, पैसा कमाना है, उससे कभी भी हिचकिचाए नहीं। पूरे बल से, पूरी ताकत से हर वो चीज पाने की कोशिश करें जिसके आपके दिल में दिलचस्पी है, जिससे प्यार है, और हर बात वो करें जो आपको अपने सपने के करीब ले जाती है। लेकिन उस सपने के अंदर कहीं ना कहीं पर एक ऐसा ख्याल जरूर रखें कि अपनी ह्यूमैनिटी, अपने जो लोग हैं, उनका भी कुछ ना कुछ भला हो रहा है।
Okay, sorry. Is this going on? Give me a minute. I'll just put it off. Yes. So more people coming in. I'll just make them join. And yes, let's get on to our today's session. So what could you get it? What could you get from the video? Anyone? And then keep asking your questions. But I'll take 10 minutes here to give you a brief on what we are trying to communicate and what we want you to do. So the first thing is very clear. Yeah, first thing is very clear, and I'll request please time पे join किया करो बच्चे. 5-1 मिनट जल्दी join करने में क्या फर्क पड़ जाएगा? You disturb when I'm speaking, when anyone is speaking, right? So first thing, what you're preparing for is an aptitude paper. You're not preparing for a textbook-based paper. That if there's a particular solution which is listed out in the textbook or stated in the textbook, it's going to be asked the same way. Okay, the question is going to get framed around it. No, it's an aptitude paper. The question is going to be phrased around how well can you understand the whole concept and how well can you implement it given different variations. So what we've seen in the paper is that similar questions get repeated. Yes, similar questions get repeated, but only if you understand the fundamental behind it, are you able to answer that question. Okay, that's one. Second is, it's very clear that your aptitude, so it's an aptitude paper, so how will your aptitude increase? Your aptitude will increase only and only when you put yourself under stress situations. What are those stress situations? You get a paragraph of a reading comprehension paragraph. You try to read it fast. You try to read it fast. You try to absorb what is written. Increases your aptitude. Would it happen overnight that your aptitude will get increased? No. Maybe no. Definitely no. But over time, when you do it for 2-3 months at a stretch, yes, definitely it's going to improve. Third, we have seen, okay, however, and I'll tell you, about certain people, certain students whom I met who went through different IIMs on the from the Hitbullseye platform. I like to share here that बच्चे उनमें से ना कोई भी स्पेशल नहीं था. ठीक है, हाँ, जब आपका रिजल्ट अच्छा आ जाता है तो आप स्पेशल बन जाते हो. आपको the whole world conspires to project you in a way that you end up, you feel that you were bound to always clear it. But were there doubts when they were preparing? Yes, there were a lot of doubts when they were preparing. They used to doubt themselves that whether we will be able to do it. Second, another thing in this, B part in this is that, so I'll rather give you an example because you'll understand it from an example better than, me just telling you in a textbook format. I met a student, I was taking his interview, had a call from Ahmedabad and Calcutta. Other calls were also there. I am Ahmedabad and Calcutta were major calls, so obviously I'm talking about that. Rural background, had difficulty speaking in English, still had a fantastic percentile. तो मैंने इंटरव्यू खत्म करी फिर, and it was an online interview. तो मैंने उससे पूछा, what all did you do? And so he was preparing. He was studying in his college. But one thing was very clear that whenever he used to get back from college, he made it sure that he used to study. And that is where I'm. And there was a similar, an engineering student, IIT Ropar ki, there was a girl who also had good calls. It was exactly the same. 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock, they would finish off their studies, and till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, then they used to prepare for this paper. So what am I trying to communicate here? Okay, I'm trying to communicate here is that one, you can make it. Second, you can, irrespective of the background that you come from, if you put in hard work, you can definitely make it. But there's nothing which is going to happen without you putting in hard work. Okay. Another thing which I like to summarize here is that, were these students always cut out? No, they were never cut out. Okay, yes, they became that flamboyant. They became, they became those god figures once they got through IIMs. But per se, initially, everyone had their ups and downs. Also, for people who are already feeling stressed with the kind of preparation कि मैं college भी पढ़ूं, मैं कुछ और भी करूं, 100% of the time you'll never be able to be right all the time. You'll never be able to be. All the platforms maybe tell you that you have to be right all the time. I say no, even if you're right 80% of the time. But yes, if you're mentally strong. And what is mentally strong? Exactly that we saw in the video. That you have to know your purpose, know your goal. Why are you doing a particular thing? Why do you want to get through a particular B school? Okay, how is that B school make you achieve your final goal? If you're clear about all those things, you have to be strong in your mind. You will make it through. Problems will keep on happening as in, during this preparation. So that's very important. Point to be noted is this. And, so there are questions which have already started coming in. There are a lot of direct questions which I'll answer. Give me a little time, please. I'll answer after finishing my initial foundation talk. And that is what is ultimately important, is that you maintain your calmness, but nothing is more important for you than clearing your paper. I'm saying that assuming that everyone here, is obviously focused on the paper. Okay, knows what you are doing. Okay, so that's laying the foundation. I like to answer. Please, I like to answer all your questions. Most welcome. Please, if you're getting stuck in a particular section, if you're getting dazzled by a couple of friends, but the way I used to prepare was, if you are preparing for your CAT examination, influence 2 or 3 of your friends, influence them and make them get on the same way. Or if you cannot influence your current friends, you can actually be a part of the group which is only talking about a particular thing, right? You cannot be successful in a particular field or a particular topic if you're not a part of that group who's successful and fluent in that topic. So you have to make that group which is only talking of MBA, so that you burning that midnight oil to be successful. Okay, that's important. I'll keep on adding as and when I have more questions. And I'll keep on deep diving. I'll obviously bring out more experiences from the students I've interacted with. It's been a long time that I did my MBA, but yes, over the last 15, 18 years, since I've been associated with different institutes and primarily Hitbullseye, what have the students come out with? I'll definitely like to share. But to just summarize again or add what I like to communicate, all the students, they had one trait in common who got through good B schools. And the trait was they were all stable-headed, right? They were mature. They were all stable-headed. They knew that there are going to be problems on the way, and these problems, they have to overcome these problems on the way to finally achieve success. Success is never a straight road. How do you handle the problems that come in your way? How emotionally detached you are? Like, let's take, something happens to the car which you just bought. Some people say, ho gaya, right? Let's move on with life. And my main purpose for the next 1 year, 1.5 years is getting through a good B school. So rather, next 1 year is getting through a B school, good B school, after clearing my written examination, clearing my interview in GDPI. how emotionally detached could you be or emotionally stable could you be, is what is determining your success. So that's the common trait which is there with everyone. Nothing matters to them more than getting through a good B school. And why do you get through a good B school? So a couple of questions more have come in. I'll answer them. But why should one get through a good B school? What helps you? Anyone can answer that? Why is everyone saying that I need to get into a good B school? What is this good B school? Define that. I think Harmeek is a part of Hitbullseye. Anyone who wants to answer that? Please, most welcome.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
Hi,
Actually,
very good. I love when,
it's
first of all, compliments to you. I love when students participate because it improves your confidence and it helps others get confidence. Please, yes.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. My pleasure. So, actually, uh, this kind of B-school gives us a kind of environment and a kind of competitions and the people where we will get to know what's the uh, differentiate what's the environment over there because everything depends on the environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so very good. I'll just rephrase to what you said. You can mute yourself now. Okay, so please, everyone, just join in time. The students still joining in. Right. So why do you choose, what differentiates a good B school, and why should you get into a good B school? Why should you strive to get into a good B school? Is because the kind of competition that okay, so it's all about increasing your aptitude till a particular age, till when you're studying, or for that matter, even when you're working. It's all about increasing your aptitude and your skills. In a very simple way, the moment you interact with highly skilled people, you sit in that class, you are automatically moving to that next level. Okay, now the intellectual ability is automatically increasing, that aptitude is automatically increasing. So जो हो गया पास्ट में, लाइफ में हो गया, ठीक है, किसी ने अच्छे कॉलेज से कर रहा है, कोई इतने अच्छे ज्यादा अच्छे कॉलेज से नहीं कर रहा, सब माफ है if you study now for the next 5 months and get through a good B school. You get through a good B school, next 2 years going to be so intellectually enriching that your aptitude is going to move to the next level. The moment your aptitude moves to the next level and you understand what is happening to you, you automatically get onto the path of high growth path. So it's irrespective whenever you started doing it, when you started doing it right now ensure that you get into a group of highly skilled students. The moment you automatically will have an increased aptitude. So giving you an example, at times, you might not be able to understand it for your own self. I was taking this, so I've been a regular at IITs as well. And I was taking a session for these IIT Delhi students. 50 of them sitting, wanting to shoot questions one after the other. And automatically the level of discussion, so you can understand the level of discussion which I had with that group was way beyond what I have with the normal group. That's why you always want to be a part of students or a part of the group which are highly intellectual. Okay, the conversation is different, right? As simple as that. So, okay, now coming on to the questions, most welcome. You can keep asking me questions. Okay, so someone, I cannot take the name because it's a direct message. So hi, if someone says hi everyone, so I say hi everyone. That's not a direct message. Siddharth says that, but anyways, so now the direct message comes. Which IIM are you from? I've not done it from an IIM, brother. I am from UBS Chandigarh. I did my MBA from UBS Chandigarh, right? Okay. Next is, I cannot say the name because it's a direct message. So I'm working professional. Please let me know how I manage my work, because sometimes my energy is high, but sometimes I feel very low. Okay. I'd actually like to bring this to and answer this question from, sorry, please mute kar lo sare. पहले मैं ये आंसर करूंगा कि the grass on the other side is always greener, and I cannot take your names, brother, because obviously you've written me a direct name, but direct message. But see it now. People who are still students, who are still studying, feel that मैं पहले job कर लेता हूँ, I'll get some good work experience, and then I'll be able to do an MBA. It's actually a big myth. Okay, why is it a big myth? Because anyone who's paying you even 50,000 rupees per month is ensuring that you are giving a revenue of 2.5 lakh rupees per month. Okay, you have to do that. That's a rule of the private sector. You cannot say that you will go, your resume will talk good about you because you have a work experience. No, what did you learn from your work experience is going to be the next question. And then when you're preparing for your examination, it's going to be even more tougher. So I understand the pain of this person who's student who's asking me this question, that I'm a working professional. How do I now manage my study? So I empathize with him completely, because I've actually been on both the sides. When I was doing my CFA, so I at that time I realized that studying when I'm working, and I used to get back at 8 o'clock from Citibank and start studying for my CFA. This is very difficult, right? So I empathize with you, but see, now answering your question, I'm a working professional. Please let me know how do I manage my work, because sometimes energy is high, but sometimes I feel very low. See, that's how your aptitude increases. If you're not putting yourself under pressure, your aptitude is not going to increase. Make any person sit with hundreds of books, give him 5 years to read those hundreds of books at his own pace. He is going to be lower in aptitude than when you give someone a time-bound thing and push them to read faster, understand the book faster. That is the time when a person's aptitude will increase. Another thing, since you're working, I understand that you're automatically maturing and you're understanding how supervisors are to be handled better, and you'll be able to understand why MBA per se is required. But you have your offs, you have time in between, you have time, so you have to be very clear. Let's say you start your day at 5 o'clock. If you're feeling tired while coming back, please start your day at 5 o'clock. Finish, do a 2 or 3 hours of study before you head for your college or before you head for your work. Come back, study for a couple of hours, cover up on the weekend. That is how you can do it. But regularity is important. If you are not regular, you will not be able to increase your aptitude at all, or you will be able to increase it in a very limited way. You have to put in efforts every day. This is a story of every day. You have to read every day. You have to work on your weaknesses every day, only if you have to improve. So I hope, sir, I answered your question. Moving on to the next question. What percentile did you get? I'm not sure why. Please don't ask such questions. Someone who's taken a CAT paper 15 years back, how does it make a difference? But I'll tell you, it was 100 percentile in maths, quant. It was a 99.8 in DI, something around 94, 93 in English. Okay, but बच्चे जो ये परसेंटाइल की बात कर रहे हैं अपने आप को एज अ फैकल्टी प्रूव करने के लिए, आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स राइट अप्रोच, बिकॉज maybe the most successful Tendulkar may not be the most successful coach. Okay, so ideally, please see me without my percentiles. If I'm a successful coach, I can be a Gary Kirsten also. Okay, so getting a percentile and being a good coach and being a good mentor are two different things. The moment a person, I would say, talks about कि मेरे इतना percentile आ गया, तो and I'll be a good teacher or a coach, I don't have that thought process. Okay, sorry. I hope I could make myself clear. Sir, what approach can we adopt for the preparation of verbal ability? Fantastic, wonderful question. Very clearly, you have to read. See, pick up any successful person, even if he's not a management student or a management graduate. Shah Rukh Khan, we saw that video, reads 2-3 books a day and reads them together. Okay, switches between topics. And you know it when he gets and talks, he talks sense. He knows what he's talking about. He's not someone who's trying to prove that he has a good English. Okay, he is someone who has a very clear thought process. So if you have to be successful, be it any field, you have to read different topics. That's the approach for verbal ability. The moment I, where I'm sitting, I've kept this, I'll maybe remove, but behind me are all books. Okay, I'm sitting in my study where I'm talking with you. It's all books, and I've collected these books and never thrown it. I visit them and I read them again and again. That I think I would like to really think highly about myself, that at least I still make it sure I read at least one book every week. I generally get a book on Friday. I order a book on Friday morning for my Saturday and Sunday reading. I cover it up on Saturday, Sunday. In case I get extra time between the weeks, during the week, I try and cover up one more book. So 2 books, but one definitely, one as and when time allows. But then my situation and your situation is different. So for you to increase your verbal ability section, read. That's one. Second, there's nothing so-called preparing and push yourself while reading. Second, there's nothing so-called preparing without taking examinations. So take your mock tests, understand it. How do you fare under a time pressure? The moment you start understanding how do you fare under a time pressure, you'll know what you get right and what you don't get right. I hope I answered your question. Otherwise, you can ask me another question, but I'm moving on to the next question. So Ritu now asks, now this question, okay, so sorry, there was, before coming on to Ritu's question, there's another question which has come as a direct, read like novels. See, that completely depends. I somehow ended up developing an interest, a lot of interest in business books, and business economics is my primary area. But yes, to improve your verbal ability section, because you're the same person who's asked me the previous question. Yes, you are the same person. So I would say that read topics, read different kind of books, so that you understand those, different topics. Also, because now I realize I missed out. So I still read 5 newspapers. My day does not begin if I don't read newspapers. I think I have my iPad only to read my newspapers, or my books for that matter. Some of the books are also there when I'm traveling. So newspapers, if you hate a particular topic, if you don't know about a particular topic, you definitely read it. You definitely read it. Okay, you have to go not only in your examination, you have to go as a wholesome person. Otherwise, also in life, you meet people across. So, at one time, I've had politicians who've been my clients. I cannot name them. I was about to name them. I've had politicians. I've had actors and actresses who've been my clients at one time. I've had people who are very successful. For that matter, I mean, Arundhati Roy is also my client. So see that way, that only if I have a particular level of knowledge will I actually be able to, talk to them. So that's how you have to. But anyways, names apart, you have to understand. And when you see the paper, talking it from a paper's point of view, when you see the paper, when you talk about, you read, then you have to, know what context is being talked about. And obviously, now talking about more about the paper, there's another one who's joining in. So let me admit this person. But knowing that CAT has been putting in and giving you questions about, has been asking you topics which have been in discussion over the last 1 year, I think nothing should be left, and you should be very rigorous about reading different topics. So understood. I hope I've answered your question. Moving, I'm coming back. So, okay. The question is, sir, 2-3 articles per day from newspaper is enough for verbal? Nothing is enough. The day you feel confident, that is enough. Right? 4-5 is also might be required for some of you. 6-7 might be required for some of you. It's अच्छा बच्चे मुझे एक चीज बताओ before you ask that question. मैं क्रिकेट की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ. I'm preparing for, and I know I'm not good at playing short balls. So I will ensure that when the person is bowling, and why I'm taking this example, I'm sorry, it's not that I'm deviating from the topic. All I am trying to make you understand is, जैसे आप अपने शेल से निकल के बाहर देखोगे ना, आप ऑटोमेटिकली अपने इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर करोगे. और वो क्वेश्चन का आंसर क्या है कि अगर मैं I'm preparing for a particular tournament and I know I'm not good at playing short balls. So I'll ensure that I play more short balls so that I start feeling confident. Before people realize that this is my weakness and they start, hampering my weakness. Pointing on my weakness. And obviously so how many articles should you read? 2 or 3, 5 or 6, 10 or 11, depends completely on your level. And the day you feel confident about it, you'll automatically know how much you have to read about it. Okay. So I'll go back to one of the questions. Ritu, we started talking, she didn't. Hi, sir, I'm a final year of BCom. So this 1 year is considered gap. But only if you think it's a gap, it's a gap. Right? First of all, only if you think it's a weakness, it's a weakness. Hand on your heart. Okay, hand on your heart. If I think I'm good in quant, हमें अंदर से फीलिंग आ जाती है कि मैं अच्छा हूं तो मैं अच्छा हूं. उसके बाद ऑटोमेटिकली मार्क्स पे आ जाते हैं. अगर कोई जना 10 बार ही बोल चुके हैं मैं वर्बल सेक्शन में अच्छा नहीं हूं, तो वर्बल सेक्शन में जेन्युइनली अच्छा नहीं हो पाता वो उसके मार्क्स वहीं पे ही कम रह रहे हैं. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, प्लीज, द वे यू सी लाइफ, it completely depends on that. That's what we saw in that video, right? So bache, it's considered a gap only if you think it's a gap. If you're confident about what you are doing and why are you doing, then it's not a gap. Okay, पहली बात, अपनी ऐसी कोई बुरी चीज नहीं है that having a gap year, as you were saying. So stop feeling it's a gap year. Get automatically a couple of percentiles more in your written examination. It will cover it up, right? Moving on further, in case I have not answered any particular question, please just in the chat box ask me the question. Read like novels, we said 2-3 articles, we've answered that question. Good evening, sir. What genre or author would you prefer for beginners to read for improving your verbal section? But it's not, if you're a beginner and you've not started reading, then read what you like. Okay, once you find that piece of reading a book and you fall in love with reading a book, you'll automatically move on to topics which you did not really like. So now what happens with me is Saturday and Sunday newspapers are very, very good for me, right? I generally read Mint and Financial Express. I always read Mint and Financial Express, but Saturday, Sunday I really love them because Saturday को जो Mint आता है, because उसमें ना books 5-6 लिखी होती है. And I generally also, one of the books which I want to choose at least after one book after every 15 days is a book wherein I have limited knowledge about. So, so that's what I'm saying. First of all, start finding peace and love with what you really like. Sitting for those 2-3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours at a stretch at the night when everyone is sleeping at home is also not that easy. But once you've started doing that with the topic which you love, automatically you'll start moving to different topics and you'll find what interests you more and what does not interest you. So like, I'll just pick up one from my study table. I'm reading this book currently. Now, why did I pick this up? So what is this book all about? It's about how the billionaires in the world economy, they influence policy making. Okay, so Davos is a place in Switzerland which has a background wherein a meeting happens once every year. And how do they make those policies and influence the whole world? How does Amazon end up not paying taxes at all or limited taxes? So I thought I had limited understanding about it, and hence I picked up this book. So now summarizing and moving on to the next question after this is, for you always start with what you really love, and then you automatically pick up those books enter the the shop, pick up those books which you don't think you know about, but this topic interests you. How is this how particular thing is happening, and then you read about it. Okay, right. So Nick, good evening, sir. I'm a BCom second year student, and I didn't have mathematics from class 8 because ICSE Council. Okay, option of opting out. I'm currently preparing for CAT 22. So, sir, can you give me some suggestions how to improve in what? First of all, what did I talk about? I said I'm an economics honors student. I was an economics honors student. I told you that. Then I did my post-graduation in economics. Then I did my MBA from UBS Chandigarh. Ended up getting 100% in CAT. Am I an engineer? No. Get this out of your head. What you love is what you score good at. If you don't love it, please first find reasons to start loving it. If you start loving it, trust me, you will be able to, the way you get up, waiting for your message or trying to message your girlfriend at 2 o'clock in the night, you'll get up and start studying that topic. That is very important. Don't think, how do I score more? Think, how do I fall in love with it? I'm repeating. Then 2 o'clock at night will also not be difficult for you to get up. Instead of messaging your girlfriend, sir, you'll be reading that, you'll be studying and solving those problems, and hence, becoming better in it. How did I become better in quant? And how did I end up scoring well? Because quant was the only thing which I could, a problem which I could leave in between. Suddenly it started happening after my 8th standard. That I could leave in between and I could start solving that problem anytime. And I used to be like very good in sports. गए कोई problem बीच में छोड़ी, खेल के आए, फिर आके उसको खत्म किया, 2-3 problems खत्म करिए, and you automatically become. So every topic has its own pros and cons. And the moment you start falling in love with quant, don't detest it. You'll automatically. So divide quant into, quant has 7-8 major sections: geometry, number system, profit and loss. See what you really like, become strong in it, move on to a related topic within quant, and that's how you conquer quant, right? Okay, moving on. And finally, even after being an economics honors student, I ended up teaching quant to, so I've taken sessions at IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, IIT Roorkee, and I was per se talking, most of the sessions were of quant. Okay, so you can do it. First of all, just find a reason to love it. That's enough. 5 months, 6 months are enough for you to, if you're in love with a particular topic, if you love with a particular subject, to get good marks in it, right? Okay. Okay, sir. So that's, wow, great. My mother's an alumni of UBS Chandigarh. Fantastic. So I'm sure we would have, if she's a part of the Delhi chapter, I'm sure we would have met in the alumni meets. So till what time should we complete the syllabus? Assume we start this month. Okay. So this girl says, at what time should we? Now that's a very, very tricky question. But irrespective of whenever at least your syllabus should be covered a month in advance, a month and a half in advance before the paper. But since you're starting covering it right now, do not miss on the mock tests. Do not miss on the mock test or the sectional test. You have to see the paper from in a time-bound manner, that a particular problem needs to be solved in a time-bound manner. So while you are starting right now, also start with your mock test, also start with your sessional test, and take everything simultaneously along. I know it's easier said than done, or there might be a temptation to leave the test because you've still not started covering the topics. Most of the topics none of the topics are actually covered. But it's like, if you start somewhere in July or August, then it will be too late. Okay, and there'll be few months for you to actually acclimatize yourself or understand what is the paper trying to ask. So mock tests and sectional tests and sessions need to be taken along, right? I hope I've answered this question. Moving on, hurrying up a little because there are 13-14 more questions left. How to manage time and good fill time, and that too regularly during my college exams in a manner that I've neither compromised with my CAT prep nor. Fantastic. So is this question for everyone or it's a direct question? No, just a minute. Yeah, it's a direct message, so obviously I'll not take the name. But बच्चे एक चीज बहुत क्लियर है, आपके कॉलेज के एग्जाम्स चल रहे हैं, आप अपनी बुक उठाएंगे, जो भी पढ़ रहे होंगे उस पैराग्राफ को एक बारी पढ़ने पे समझने की कोशिश करनी है. What we generally do is, and why are most of us poor in reading comprehension? And at that time, I also used to, I was also not that good. Obviously, then, but I inculcated that habit of reading books, and then subsequently, which still continues, is that हम सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है, जब हम अपने नॉर्मल बुक पकड़ते हैं, जब हम कैट का स्टडी मटेरियल लेते हैं, कैट के स्टडी मटेरियल में तो उसको पहली बारी में अंडरस्टैंड करने की कोशिश करेंगे. जो हमारी टेक्स्ट बुक है उसको पहली बार कैजुअल रीडिंग देते हैं, फिर उसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. व्हाई नॉट see that as a reading comprehension and read it accordingly. Trust me, those thick books will also go to increase your aptitude. Okay, in the final paper, when you're sitting in front of the when you're taking the examination, that's what we always say. In 10-15 seconds, you should be able to make out whether you have to read a particular, whether you have to solve a particular reading comprehension, or whether you have to solve a particular question or not. That's what you're going to do. This 10-15 seconds obviously is for a shorter paragraph. Your paragraphs in your textbooks are going to be a little longer. Take 30-35 seconds, but that paragraph needs to be understood in that time. If you're able to understand the paragraph in that time, you're doing justice, your aptitude is automatically increasing. Just that we did not do justice to our textbooks. We only started studying during the last month of our papers, and hence we have poor reading abilities. Some of us have poor reading abilities. That's all that you have to do. Please take it as if that's a RC of the CAT paper. Okay. So, and then weekends, overloaded, but you have to get up early in the morning, read before you go to your college, come back, give at least a couple of hours. Self-study along with Hitbullseye material is the only mantra for success. If any one is missing, success may be there, but there are less chances. Moving on, there are 15 more questions have come in. Okay, hi sir, I am a final year BCom. Should I? No, bache, it's not a gap. Should I consider 1 year gap? No, that's not. अच्छा एक चीज बताओ, you're a final year student. You're preparing for paper, 4-5 months, paper happens. I answer this question of one of the students, one of the girls there, bold girl who wrote it to everyone. Now, that's okay. 3-4 months, now that it's a situation which is there on hand, forget this, focus on getting a couple of percentiles more. I think that's where your energies have to be focused. If you end up getting a couple of percentiles more, sab ho jata hai yaar. You need to have something which you can talk. It's okay. There's no set formula that if you have 3-4 months of non-enrollment in a particular college, there'll be some marks which are deducted. No, there's no set formula like that. Now, what are you going to talk about in the interview matters there. If you don't have anything to talk about in the interview for these 3-4 months and you're only focusing कि मेरे को 3-4 महीने मेरा gap हो गया, तो फिर interview clear नहीं होती. But there's enough. If there's enough for you to talk about in the interview, if they'll give you a chance to, and they'll ask you questions what interests you. If those interests are lacking, if there's limited, things which you're going to talk about, then it's a problem. Otherwise, hang on, handle ho jata hai, right? How do I improve grammar? Verbal faculty, sorry. Ask your verbal faculty, but I would say reading, and there are a couple of books on, I'm not sure which book your verbal faculty is suggesting. There are a couple of books on improving grammar, which are a part of Hitbullseye material. Also, there are certain study material which is there online that will help you improve the whole thing. But exactly which level are you on? Just check out with your verbal faculty. Verbal faculty would be the best person, right? So I'm weak in DI. How to improve this session? Okay. So there's a guy who's asking this question. And I was taking this session with Harinder sir the other day, and I answered this question in a very simple way. Everyone's watching IPL. Yes. Anyone who does not like it, is not watching it at all, can just write no and say to everyone, I'm okay. But we know IPL is happening. How many teams are there? I think there are 10 teams. which is the third ranked team. If I ask you, so Mr. P is asked this question. This P, I ask you that will KKR be able to make it? Can you solve this problem for me in the next 15 minutes? How many matches should each team win for KKR to make it to the finals? So what am I trying to communicate? DI and logical reasoning. More questions are now being asked with DI and logical reasoning being together. If you're asking and questioning yourself with the daily events which are happening around you, you'll become good. Things are happening around us. It's an aptitude paper. Then I finally approach and I see the Hitbullseye material and I see that these were the particular areas and sections which I was not good at. And hence I approached them in a very focused manner that मैं ये solve ही नहीं कर पाया. Now see it in a very simple way. We say sports people don't get to study, right? Because obviously they're focusing so much. I have a relative who's an international player. They're focusing so much. But tell me, they also know it, how many matches their team needs to win out of, let's say, there are 10. Sorry, mute kar lo bache. Okay. Mini mute karo. Okay, anyone who's not on mute, Priya. Savvy and Tanvi, आप mute पे नहीं हो बच्चे, एक बार mute कर लो. Savvy, Gautam and Tanvi. Not that you were speaking, but you're not on mute. I noticed yours as well. Okay, yep. Perfect. So thank you so much for cooperating. That's very important. Then you focus on what is happening around you. And sorry, sports people is where we were. So, sports people who actually focusing more on honing their skills of playing at least 10-12 hours in a day, they also know it against which teams do they need to win to finally qualify for the playoffs. They do it or they don't do it is something else, right? But before the tournament actually started, they've calculated their odds and evens, odds against or odds for, and that's what I'm talking about, probability. They've already calculated and they know which team they need to win against to qualify for the playoffs, right? That is what is aptitude. Without a degree, maybe some of them don't have. Okay, so this is what is important, and hence, P, I hope I've answered your question. That pehle things are happening around you, then you know which things you're not able to answer. Then go take help from the online material, take help from the textbooks, and achieve that success. Nothing is going to come without hard work. How to analyze a mock, sir? A strategy you can. I would say, answering your question, it's very simple. Getting success or becoming a successful batsman, it's not only about hitting sixes and fours. It's also about leaving the balls which I cannot score on. Okay, so if I keep out the balls which are wicket-taking balls, I ensure I get a good score. That's exactly what happens in the paper. You need to know the first way of analyzing the whole thing is that which questions you wasted your time on, but you should not have wasted your time on. Okay, and which topic do they belong to? Which do you think this topic was actually a strength of yours or a weakness of yours? You start analyzing like that, because if I end up doing, and I can safely say it, you can talk to your faculties also about it. I'm sure they would have also talked about it. Is that if I end up solving all the easy questions in the paper, I get an IIM call, or get a percentile which can get me an IIM call. Okay, so I need to know which questions I need to leave, which questions I need to attempt to summarize, and whether I ended up spending a lot of time in a question which was supposed not to be done, right? And then you start coming to a conclusion that though I find that this topic is my strength, but these kind of questions, when they come, they are not to be attempted because they take a lot of time, right? Okay, so that's the way. So 29. My question is for all sections. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I missed your questions. Okay, but I think I've answered. Early morning study routine is good or late night? I know it depends on comfort level, but what is your preference? But as of now, both the times is when you have to study, both early morning and late in the evening. Your aptitude will only increase if you push yourself beyond what you can do. Only then will the aptitude increase. Okay. So both the times you have to actually get up and do it. Yes, last 15 days, then we have to get acclimatized and actually focus on the time. जब CAT का पेपर देना है हमें, जिस टाइम स्लॉट पे मुझे CAT का पेपर देना है, उस टाइम स्लॉट पे तो मैं बिल्कुल स्लीपी वगैरह कुछ फील नहीं कर सकता. Right? I have to like really be vigilant at that time and be at my best. Right? That biological clock also needs to be set. Right? So in short, please retell the success steps. Okay. Okay, I will. I'll summarize that, sir. No, sir, I don't watch. Okay, sorry. Okay, cricket. Yeah, cricket. Okay. So, but I answered the question. Okay, great. What are those things which an interviewer wants in an interview in order to select a student? A difficult question to answer. Can actually be taken in an interview session, but I'll try to answer it in a very limited way because it's a topic in itself. What are they going to ask you in an interview? I need at least a couple of hours to make you understand that. But in very short, they'll give you that opportunity, whatever good that you've done in life, be it in your academics, be it in your extracurriculars, be it hobbies. What else? Be it could any be social work, be anything. Could reading hobbies I've already covered. Whatever good you've done, then you are able to talk about it, and they can check your in-depth knowledge that he's not ended up wasting his time just by being on Instagram and making reels. Okay, so that's nothing to increase your aptitude. They just want to know that if you if you've done something worthwhile in your somewhere. If not academics, then could be a hobby, could be sports, could be extracurriculars, but somewhere, right? You've done something worthwhile. That's how you. That's what they really want to check in the interview, and it's all about having that positive environment. Once you have an in-depth knowledge about one of these things, you end up having a positive environment around it. Okay, moving on. Okay, so that was the last question. Great. So I hope that suddenly comes to. Okay, so Sir Naman says, sir, in short, please tell the success steps. Okay. Okay, so the first thing. Sorry, I've got the light at my back now. Yeah. So first thing, you have to come out of your comfort zone. Your aptitude is not going to increase in your comfort zone. If you're managing multiple things together, wonderful. Your aptitude is getting increased. If you have a younger brother or a sister who keeps irritating you and disturbs you in your study, but you still end up studying, very good. Your aptitude is getting increased. Okay, there's a blessing happening to you. But if you're one person who goes to sit under a tree reading book at a leisure, hang on, you're not increasing your aptitude. You may be increasing your knowledge, but in the aptitude paper, this might not help. Okay, or would help only to a limited extent. You have your college, you have your work, you're studying, you're pushing yourself, you're maintaining that calm, your focus is clear, you know what you have to achieve, and that this 5 months of study is going to erase what is what is deficient in your academic career in the past. If you understand the importance of the next 5 months, right, you're meant for success. And that's what I'm trying to reiterate. Please, the next 5 months, erase a lot of wrongdoings of the past, get through a good B school, be a part of the good batch, intellectual batch. Your intellectual ability, your aptitude automatically increases. That's in a very limited way. If you understand this, you're bound for success. If you don't understand this, if you still feel going out with your friends, again, having friends which are preparing for the same examination is very important. If you're a part of the group, someone is doing something else, please, for a few months, just leave it. For few months, just leave it. Be very focused, and that's about it. Interview हम करवा लेंगे, इतना मुश्किल नहीं होता. कोई gap year का कैसे उसको आंसर करना है, we'll tell you all that as well. But as of now, focus all the three things, at least if not all the three topics in a day, 2 topics in a day. Please, please, please do it multiple times, and that is the only mantra for this. Yes. So answered all the questions. If there's anything else, okay. So last question was about the interview only. If there's anything else, most welcome. Otherwise, that is it for the session. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Have confidence in yourself. Please, instead of fighting out about wrong things, be very focused. Naman, you can, thanks a lot for the amazing session. Thank you, most welcome. So those thank you messages coming in. Naman, you can type your question if you raised your hand. Thank you so much. There are a lot of thank yous coming in, so it makes me feel good. But respect your parents, understand and overcome the difficulties. Difficulties are there in everyone's life. Yes. So a couple of more questions come in. So how to revise the things that we had covered in a week? How do you want to revise it, bache? Okay. I would rather say I would go back to my student days and I would say that I'll make those A4 papers. I'll staple those A4 papers in somewhere in my register, and I'll read and I'll put down all those important points. And why did I write that as an important point? I'll go back and try to remember that why did I write that thing as an important point. Okay, if I'm able to recall, I think I've done justice to whatever I did during the week. Also, if a particular topic is taking 2 days, the second round of study, it will take 1 day. The third round of study, it will take only a couple of hours. And if it is not taking a couple of hours, means you've still not got the gist of the whole thing. So that's very important. Till a topic is not taking only a couple of hours for you to cover it. Now, if you ask me, so I ended up becoming very good in quant towards, when I was about to take the paper. I could cover number system in like a couple of hours, 2 hours, right? What we at that time used to do in 5 or 6 sessions. So if you're able to do that, you know it, that you're good at it, right? So that's what you have to do. Revisit, do the topic multiple times. Thank you, sir. Okay, really workable. Of different sections, of same section. Sorry, one thing. Naman's asked again this question. I'll go back to your question, Naman. So 3 topics. Okay, going back to your question. Naman, why don't you just ask me a question? Sir, shortly tell the session. Okay, 3 topics to the now. Why don't you ask the question right away? You can unmute yourself and ask the question. You written the question to everyone. Yes, but Hanji bache, batao. Bolo. Are you unmuted yourself?
Sir, actually, sir, there was so much noise around myself, my environment, so that's why I didn't mute at that.
बच्चे मुझे समझ नहीं आया.
Sir, actually, I didn't mute at that time because there was so much noise around my environment.
हाँ जी बच्चे, तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? आप पूछने का क्या चीज कोशिश कर रहे हो कि of different section of same section? You ask me again, I'll answer it. That's okay.
Sir, my motive to question this, ask this question is that we have to prepare from a same section the 3 topics or the different topics from the different sections.
But the highest level of efficiency is if you do 3 topics from a different section. If you do it from the same section, then it's still simpler. But the highest level of aptitude is that I can juggle between multiple different kind of questions, and if I can solve all 3 of them, I think I've just done justice to my aptitude. So by August, if you're not able to do it right now, by August you should be able to. And August tak sabko rakhna chahiye.
Means we have to shuffle all these 3 sections one by one and attempting one question from each section.
हाँ बच्चे, अगर जो final level पे होगा ना, no, how should I put it? No, that's not actually what I meant. The only thing which I meant at that time was.
The voice is not coming. Sir, voice is not coming.
Sorry, बच्चे, sorry. 1 minute. अभी आ रही है? Is it better? I've come really close to the microphone. Okay, so I'll answer this question. See, CAT में ऐसे तो नहीं आएगा. There'll be one section at any moment of time. So if the first thing is that I should be very comfortable on solving different similar kind of questions together. But the highest level of aptitude, otherwise I'm talking apart from CAT, is that if I can, I can solve an RC, I can do a maths, I can do a quant question, and then I can do a DILR question as well. That's the highest level of efficiency which a person can achieve. Okay, once you're able to do it by August, there'll be a different kind of an aptitude, which confidence and the level of aptitude which you'll have. Okay, so that was my limited point, but you require it for the paper or not, that completely depends on you, because section wise ही करना होता है सब कुछ attempt. तो पहले तो हमें याद चाहिए कि मैं प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस का भी कर लूं एक क्वेश्चन, मैं नंबर सिस्टम का भी एक क्वेश्चन कर सकूं, मैं एक ज्योमेट्री का भी क्वेश्चन कर सकूं, राइट. सो वो सेक्शनल टेस्ट की बात करी मैंने. बट अगर आप तीनों मिक्स भी करके कर पाओगे, सो इट्स ओनली गोइंग टू हेल्प यू, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बॉदर यू. फॉर इफ थिंग्स चेंज, आज तक ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मिक्स हो जाए, हम एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं करते कि ऐसे हो जाए, पर हो जाए तो you're obviously better prepared. Yes, most welcome. So everyone says thanks for motivating us. Most welcome. Anytime you have more questions.
That 3 questions we have to attempt simultaneously from the different sections.
Not simultaneously. No one's a superhuman. No. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. Maybe you can try this in an RC. That you read 2 RC and you can try for 1, but I'll not suggest that. This is just a weird thought when you ask me that question. I'll not suggest that. No. Never ever do that. On a very serious note, never ever do that. Okay, you'll only get confused. Okay? Yeah, so I've answered this question. I think he's satisfied with the answer. Naman is satisfied with the answer. No, you cannot, obviously you cannot do 2-3 questions. Maybe books when you're reading to increase your aptitude. Okay, so you could, if you're reading multiple books together and you're able to understand, I think that will be a really boost to the aptitude. But people who don't have a habit to read, don't even try it. Okay, you'll only get confused. If people have a habit of reading, if you're reading 2 books together and you're able to absorb both the books, very good. So last question, this one, sir, can we give mocks despite not completing? Can we nahi bache? You should, okay, give mocks before completing the syllabus. How do you know everyone is good in reading if you're reading without time pressure? So also, a paper makes you understand. I just said, it's not, the paper is not only about doing the questions which you know are right. Paper is also about strategizing. Now, what is strategizing? That I don't need to attempt the questions which are not meant to be attempted. If I end up spending more time in the questions which are not meant to be attempted, then my strategy for the paper is gone. Okay, so that is. So we can also read online. Yes, definitely. Why not? Why not? If you love it, you do it everywhere. You do it online, you do it through books, whatever makes you comfortable. Yes. Online, I would say yes, because the paper is online. Yep. You should prefer that. 6 times out of 10, prefer online. 4 times out of 10, you can do it the way you want. How many hours a day necessary? Okay, how many hours a day necessary? So if the paper is of 2 hours, you have to at least study for 2.5 hours at a stretch. If a paper is of 2.5 hours, and I'm saying because, if the timing change, with the times, let's say if you have to sit for 3 hours, then you should definitely, in the paper, you have to definitely study for 3.5 hours at a stretch. Half an hour more than the duration of the examination. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, everyone. I think I tried to solve your doubts. In case there are some which are still left, most welcome to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Right. Aishwarya wants to ask something.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, last question, yes. You asked a question, Piche. मैंने आपका नाम नहीं लिया था because it marked a direct question. Yes. Please ask, go ahead.
Actually, I am from ICSE board. I've done my 10th from ICSE board. And okay. in our school we had an option to opt for commerce and science. So हमें ये था कि हमें 8 तक हम कर सकते हैं maths, and after that we are not. I mean, it's an option you have to do or not. So I've been opt for maths in plus 1 and plus 2 also.
Okay.
So my question is that, sir, कि मतलब अब अगर मैं CAT के एग्जाम्स दे रही हूँ तो will I be able to cope up with it or not? I mean, ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, बट आता है, पर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम तो है.
हाँ, तो बच्चे ऑनलाइन उसके लिए आपके लिए स्टडी मटेरियल अपलोड किया गया है ना, जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट मटेरियल वंस.
ओके सर.
है ना बच्चे, उसको करो. वो सेल्फ हेल्प इसलिए किया गया है ना कि यू विल बी एबल टू डू इट नाउ. सो you know, before a particular topic is happening in the class, read about the topic a couple of at least 3-4 days before that, so that you absorb, right?
Okay.
And you end up asking the questions if you're not able to connect between both the things.
Okay, sir.
That should help you a lot.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome. Thank you, everyone. Lovely having you over. All the best for your examinations. Do well. Be sincere to yourself more than anyone else. And if you're sincere to yourself, I'm sure a good college awaits you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.